Alrighty, today I'm gonna make a mess out of things. Oh, my nose is running because it's freezing. I got this sleeve cylinder, and I'm gonna put this on my van. So this sleeve cylinder is off of an old International, like the brand International. It fits on like a lot of different models, but the reason I got this is because it has an inch bore. The one on my van, I think it's 13 sixteenths. I don't know what size. I'll tell you when I get it off, because whatever. It's 13 sixteenths, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should have known that before I made this video. But anyway, this sleeve is bigger, which means when I push on the clutch, since this is bigger, it's going to be easier for me to push on that, even though that's not going to move as much. But I know that I have the room because my clutch grabs at the very last second. So literally like 85% of my clutch pedal travel is just like free. It's just like doesn't do anything, and then all of a sudden it catches at the last second. So if I put a bigger sleeve on there, it won't push as much, but I'll still have the travel to be able. It'll work. I'm telling you. So I got to take my vans out first. I got to look at it because I don't even know if this will work, but I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make a custom bracket. I got the bolt in here that don't even go in there, but I'm gonna make them work. And this is the same diameter as the stock Vanagon sleeve cylinder, which is an inch as far as I know. Regardless, this is bigger than what's in there, and it'll be easier for me to press, and it'll be easier to drive because more of the clutch pedal will be the clutch actually like starting to grab. So I guess I'm gonna open up the back of this van, get my light, and start making a mess. Guys, it's cold, and I'm ready to hop in my van and drive south where it's warm. But until then, and while I'm working where I'm working and can make stuff, I need to make this van as best I possibly can for future use. There's a lot of stuff going on over there, but this is what we're working with. So this, dang it, I didn't grab my other sleeve cylinder, but this bolts to them two, that one and that one, and the line comes up and comes here obviously, and this pushes on here. So my other one I have to make work with them two bolts, that bolt and that bolt, and also I need to adapt a line because that's 10mm fitting for a banjo bolt, like an eyelet basically, and the other thread is a 7/16 24 with a inverted flare on it, so I need to adapt that over to a 10x1, which I work in a machine shop so I can pretty much like make it happen. But I need to get a little line made, and I need to like figure out, I'm gonna stand out here so you can actually see me, but I need to figure out that, but I can figure that out later. So I think I'm gonna take this off real quick. I'll show you these little handy dandy things I've made. Just little pieces of steel. This one I got a little nut welded to it, and there's two flats, 19mm. And this one is a 10x1. This is a 10x1.25. 10x1.25. I got a bunch of sizes in there, but this will allow me to get that banjo bolt off of there, and I can put this on the bottom of that banjo bolt and the bottom of that eyelet, and I can seal off that clutch line so all the fluid doesn't leak out, so it'd actually be sealed. I'm gonna take this off real quick and see what kind of mess I'm getting myself into. Alright, so I got this off. I don't even know where I left off, but I got the Subaru one off, and I got this off, and I got this little temporary bracket. Whoa, it's way overexposed. And this is going to allow me to find out, I'll explain tomorrow, but I am freezing cold. My feet and my hands. So I'm gonna explain all this tomorrow after I make this bracket and show you exactly what I'm doing, but it's gonna work. I'll see you tomorrow. Next day. All right. So I made this little piece. I just tapped that. Got the mounting holes, this, and I'm gonna get my slave cylinders out and you can see what it does. Here we go again. Okay, so this, I got it all put together. Got all my washers in there. I got 2 different positions, 15 millimeters apart, just in case it needed to move up, if like the spacing wasn't right. But I'm thinking this mounts on this surface. This mounts on that surface. They both mount here. Like that side goes up against the transmission. And well, you can see I wrote. You can't really read it, but it says trans. And so I was looking at this one, and that surface is basically splitting this down the center. I don't know if you can tell, but down the center of that is the mounting surface. And that's how I got this. Well, you can see that cast, which is in the center of this, which is exactly where that is. So that should be good, should be centered. Basically I made this piece to get my spacing right with different, like, various washers, and just to kind of maybe if this needs angled, because on the transmission it's like very like angled. But I was looking at this other slave cylinder, and this slave cylinder, these two, like, this is exactly 90 degrees from this mount. So if this piston and cylinder are the same distance apart, which I could measure, we'll get close. If from this to the center is the same as that, this can be just 90 degrees as well, from these two to these, because that is, you know, I don't know if you know what I'm saying. This to that, it's like perfect. And this is very close. Actually, this looks really good. So I'm going to put this on, make sure it looks right, and yeah, just make sure it looks right. All right, so I got my piece on, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty centered up as far as that piece goes. And you can see, got it bolted to the tranny with them washers spacing it out. I got a couple washers on the head of the bolt because it was too long and it would bottom. And the threads or the bolts holding that slave cylinder on, I got it spaced out so it can clear that profile where that cylinder is. So basically I'm going to take all this off, measure everything, and make a piece that's exactly to spec for that. Because this is looking, it's looking pretty good. Center enough, because it's a radius profile on the top of that cylinder, and it's also radiused in that arm, and it can allow a little bit of movement, a little bit of it being off-centered. So yeah, this is looking very good. I wish it would just bolt right onto that little eyelet, but that eyelet is a 10 millimeter, and the bolt that goes in, or the threads that are in that slave, are 7/16. Well, the 7/16 is 11.11 millimeter. I don't think that there's that much clearance in that eyelet to allow an 11.11 millimeter bolt go through it. I don't think, that'd have to be pretty loose, pretty sloppy, and I don't think it's, I'm gonna check, but I don't think it's happening. So I gotta adapt that somehow. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna take it off of my van, put it up here on the bench, just to get a comparison and like measure everything, and I'll bring it to work tomorrow and make one, which might take a second because I'm like debating on what to do. So I'm gonna take this off real quick so we can like think about this. Alright guys, here's a direct comparison next to each other. They're literally the same, like the same everything. I just found some spacers that I had and they fit. So yeah, they're pretty close actually. They are very close. Man, this is perfect. So I need to basically make this bracket, which is kind of like barely together, just to give me an idea of where this needs to be. Man, this is like exactly, that is so close to this Subaru one. I'll post a link like in the description where I got it and like what it is and what it fits and what part numbers, whatever, because this is like very close. It would be somewhat, actually it wouldn't be that hard to make a mount for it either, because you could space it all out with just washers. You could, and it would work fine. But since I work in a machine shop and I run a mill all day, I'm gonna make a legit bracket for this. This one's a 1-inch diameter. This one is a, I think that's a 13/16. And so it's like, it's definitely bigger. This one's like 20 millimeters, 20 point something, and this one's 25.4. So this one is like 20% bigger. Is that right? It's like 20% bigger. So the pedal is going to be 20% easier. It's going to move 20% less. Like, not basically, but like close to 20% less. I don't know what word I'm looking for. But an estimated 20% less. That's what I'm looking for. It's so cold I can't think. So this is what I got. I like this whole setup. It's like a cool little comparison. So yeah, this is what I got. I need to adapt this 7/16. No, this 7/16 to this 10. So I'm probably just going to make a little bracket over here to hang off this, and the banjo bolt's going to come on the bottom. It's going to come out of the top, and then loop over around. I'll figure that out. I'm going to go inside because I know this is good now. Show up my van because it's freaking cold. I'm going to make this tomorrow and I'll report back. So keep warm.